Hi, everybody. This is Larry Kudlow of CNBC's Kudlow & Company, and you're listening to Steve Crowley's American Scene.
Steve Crowley's American Scene.
One of the reasons we come to these FSX conferences, folks, is to meet quality people. The keynote speaker here today is Marc Rudov. He's the white noise doctor, branding and marketing. You probably have seen him on television. He's done everything from Neil Cavuto to the O'Reilly Factor, right, Mark?
That's right.
Great to have you here. His expertise, folks, is branding and marketing, something that all of us who are small business people and even big business people have to know something about, or we're not going to make it today. And your talk today is Be Unique or Be Ignored, Mark, right?
How to grab investors and customers.
How to grab investors and customers. Well, you know, the unfortunate part is that a lot of people that come to conferences like this walk away without the money. They didn't do something right, right?
They didn't grab investors.
They didn't grab them.
Right.
Okay. And you only have, 15 seconds to grab them?
That's right. You do. Just as when I'm on TV with O'Reilly or Cavuto, if Neil asks me a question, if I don't make my main point in 15 seconds, people switch the channel.
They do. That's the nature of television. That's why, you know, I've learned the two-meat. I started on television for 20 years, but then when I got into talk radio, I didn't know how to do it because I had all this time to fill, and in television, you got to do it in a soundbite, right?
Right. And the same principle applies to your homepage of your website, which is your main branding platform. It's your billboard. It's your opening argument. It's the cover of your book. It's your barcode. So in other words, if somebody comes to your website and can't determine within 15 seconds what you do, then he's just going to go to the next website.
And I know you're aggravated by this. I'm aggravated by it when I go to a company website and I'm really perplexed as to where they are in the timeline, what they're doing every day. I mean, they don't tell you that.
Well, the main problem is they talk about themselves.
Right.
And they should be talking to the customer in the customer's language.
Or the investor, right?
Right, and they don't do that. And I invented a term called gut share. A lot of people in Silicon Valley use the term mind share.
Right.
Well, people came to California in 1849 to find gold because that's where the gold was. Well, the gold is in your gut, not in your head. People don't make cerebral decisions, and you shouldn't make cerebral sales. So when you make a good decision, how do you know? You feel it in your gut. When you make a bad decision, how do you know? You feel it in your gut.
That's true, you do.
Now, Oprah Winfrey...
Intuition.
Right. Well, you feel it because the gut actually processes your emotions and your intellect together.
Okay.
So
that's why people get upset stomachs? I guess so, right?
Depending on who's in the room, yes.
That's right.
Now, Oprah Winfrey, I wrote an article about this, gut share versus mind share, and you can find it at marcrudov.com.
Okay.
She gave the commencement address at Stanford University in 2008, and I quoted her in my article, and she said, every major decision I've ever made in my entire life, I've made with my gut.
Really?
That's right. And that is
She's a multi-billionaire.
She's a multi-billionaire, and that's where people really make decisions. And there's a myth that in the corporate world, executives don't make emotional decisions. Well, that's totally false. Executives have two main emotions. One is power, and one is reputation. So every decision, including whom to invite to a meeting, comes down to power and reputation.
I see.
Now, if I'm selling to you, either face-to-face or over the phone, or branding to you through my homepage, I have to incorporate those emotions in my messaging.
Right.
And if I don't, either we're going to have no sale, or it's going to take a very long time, which means the sales funnel will be elongated. Your cost of sales will skyrocket. Now, one of the things I'm going to talk about today is the number of CEOs who have said to me, I don't care. And the number of venture capitalists.
Why don't they care? They think they're too good?
I just don't understand it at all. And if I were on the board and I heard any CEO say that, he'd be fired. Now,
who's done a great job in Silicon Valley of marketing their wares?
Only one company. Apple.
I was going to say that.
Because Apple is all about the customer versus Microsoft, which is all about the product. When you watch an Apple commercial, you feel something.
Right.
The reason that people line up around the block in a rainstorm, in a recession, is because they think that if they buy Apple products...
Well, look, there's my iPhone right here.
Right. I have one, too. But the reason they do that is because they will feel cool. It's all about a lifestyle sell. Now, whether you're selling iPhones or nuclear reactors, customers have emotions. And if you think about power and reputation, it used to be back in the 80s, nobody ever got fired for buying IBM. Remember that?
Yeah, sure.
That's emotion.
Right.
Your job is on the line.
Sure.
You always hear this question, what keeps you up at night?
Right.
It's not numbers, it's pressure, it's power and reputation. So if you're selling, you have to incorporate that. When you do, people say, I want that. But if you go for the cerebral sell, if you say, well, what you really need is 10 more PowerPoint slides with more metrics, people, their eyes glaze over. They don't get emotionally involved.
Mark, with Apple, doesn't it go back to Steve Jobs that we respect the guy's intelligence, and if, God forbid, Steve Jobs were no longer with us, we wouldn't be as prone to buy the products?
Well, it depends on how the company performs if he's gone.
Right.
But
we think he's a genius, therefore his products are great.
Well, one of the reasons he's a genius is because he understands people, and he understands how to get to them.
Yes.
And that's the whole point, that when you see an Apple billboard or an Apple commercial, or even if you go into an Apple store, the store is laid out to make the customer feel comfortable and good and know that he's going to be really cool and make a lifestyle decision when he buys the product.
Ever been to the Apple store in San Francisco? I mean, it's incredible because it's just chock full of people trying all their products.
Right.
It's like they're incredibly taken back by it.
But name one other company that has that kind of customer response.
I don't know. I can't think of one.
That's right. And there's a company called EMC Squared, which is in Hopkinton, Massachusetts.
Right.
Sells data storage.
Oh, I know them well,
Okay.
yeah.
The reason that EMC Squared became so successful is it took a dumb, boring storage device into the boardroom and changed it from a storage device into a repository of your secret information.
Right.
So it was able to convince the board, do you realize that all of your trade secrets are in this box? And if something goes wrong with this box, it's your ass.
That's right.
So people said, wow, all of a sudden storage became a boardroom decision.
I see.
That is how you use the emotional sale, even in a business environment where you think it's stodgy.
Yeah.
It's,
well, some of that's going on with cloud computing today. People are concerned about storage, right?
Well, I think the cloud computing is it's interesting. I remember time sharing in the 70s.
Right. I do
Okay?
too, yeah.
And now we're back to time sharing. So the pendulum for off-premises, on-premises, off-premises keeps swinging.
Right.
And to bet all of your money on off-premises computing makes no sense. And to get all hung up on cloud computing, which I call branding fog.
Okay.
Because when you think about what a cloud is, what is it? It's fog.
It's fog, you're right.
Right. And
Water particles.
The point is that somebody will come up with a neat invention next year, and the way the herd will go back to on-premises computing, and so nobody should be branding cloud computing. If it helps, in other words, technology is always a means to an end. It's not the end.
Right.
Too many people get hung up on the technology as the end, and I coined a disease for that. It's called technologica erotica. That's when you're totally
Technologica erotica.
right.
Okay.
You're totally focused on the technology. You don't understand who buys it or why. And in fact, nobody buys technology. People buy solutions to their problems.
Right.
And the technologists don't understand that. They get so excited about their technologies in their engineering meetings, and they start using the terms they use in engineering meetings with the general public. You have 3G and 4G and Web 2.0. Nobody knows what these things mean.
No.
But they keep using the terms anyway. And Microsoft has a commercial now showing the mother and, of course, the stupid father. And that's the way a lot of commercials are these days. But she's altering photographs with Windows 7. And it's to the cloud.
Well,
but nobody knows what it means.
I bought the iPhone because I thought I was going 4G. Everybody said I got to go 4G, but then I look at the top of the iPhone, it says 3G on it.
What does 4G mean?
I don't know.
Right.
More power. I know it means more power.
Yeah, but more power than what? And if you talk to the people who really know, they say there's very little difference between 3G and 4G. But the point is that when you keep throwing out terms out there that aren't related to people's lives, they don't know what to do with it.
Right. That's true. Well, let me give you a website out to our listeners here, marcrudov.com, which is MarcRudov, marcrudov.com. Companies come to you for ideas on marketing their products, right?
And branding. But
And
basically
branding.
what I do is I call myself the white noise doctor, and most companies are in the white noise, which means they're indistinguishable from each other. And I help them stand out as unique players.
Wow, be unique or be ignored. So what are you going to tell the folks today at the luncheon?
Well, I'm going to talk about what you and I have been discussing. It's how to grab investors and customers, and you do that by tapping into their emotions, by being unique.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about a deck of cards turned upside down, where is there a magic trick, pick a card?
Right.
That's what it's like to pick a vendor. They all look the same. And if you go to your website and cover up your company name and logo,
Mm-hmm.
and then read the contents of the homepage, you'll say, which company is this?
Right.
It looks like all my competitors. We're all saying the same crap.
Can you tell a company is going to be successful during the first few years? Can you kind of predict it's going to be successful or not based on their branding and marketing strategies?
Well, that has the brand is the stone in the pond, and that has a lot to do with it. But what happens often is the people who found the company are replaced with the gray hairs, and they come in and they kind of institutionalize the company, and that can be dangerous because they don't really know what the heart and soul is, and only the customer knows what the heart and soul is. If you're not tapping into the customer's emotions, you're going to lose track of why he's buying.
Well, when Walt Disney died, that's kind of what happened to Disney. It got institutionalized. It's still a great company, but the suits came in to run it.
If you think about the best comedians, the best performers, they're the ones with the greatest ability to tap into the audience.
Really?
They sense what the audience is thinking and feeling.
Okay. Stand-up comic.
And they can communicate, because why are some people so funny, like Robin Williams, and some people you don't even remember them the next day?
That's great. Marc Rudov, our special guest, he's here at FSX giving the keynote address at the luncheon today. The White Noise Doctor, folks. Go to marcrudov.com, branding and marketing. You may want to hire Marc when you're launching your brand. Marc, thank you. Thanks so much.
My pleasure.
See him all the time on television, O'Reilly, Neil Cavuto and such. We'll take a break on the American scene and come right back with more